to this. To that one. All right, how about now? Because that's not doing anything.
Yeah, see, now it's not picking up anything. Going back to
This is fun.
That doesn't work. I mean, guys, check with us. I mean, come on. How can this not work now? I have my sound is up. I can see it here. Play a sound test.
What?
Oh, we can hear now. Okay,
All
sorry.
right.
Go back,
Wow.
Skylar. Now, where were you now?
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, I've been doing drugs.
Yes.
Is that where we left
So
off?
heroin. Yeah.
No, like I said, it's actually worse than that. I started doing stand-up comedy.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, so that's been eating a lot of my time. And
So you're a different kind of comic. You went from a comic book look to stand-up comic.
Yeah.
You fucking didn't get a comic book look, dude. There's a book in the title.
I always had a problem with reading comprehension, you know. But I'm still rocking on stage. I'm still rocking the comic book look shirt. Keep it comics. People always just think it's related to comedy. So whatever. Just let it ride.
Yes, that is perfect. Keep it comics. It does work for both stand-up and for comic books. Keep it comics. So, hey, I mean, nice way to come up with that, bro.
That was my full intention, Skylar, when I designed it.
Oh, no, that's so cool that you're doing stand-up, though. So where can the people find you doing stand-up? I mean, we get to see you? How can they follow you? How can they see these jokes?
Yeah, you can find me. Comedian Skylar Volks on Facebook is like my main webpage. I don't have an actual webpage set up. I'll be headlining in Sioux Falls on October 16th. And this weekend I'll be in Sanford, Michigan, and Waterloo, Iowa. If anybody's out in those areas, check me out, look me up, and find out where I'm playing it out there as well.
Yeah, we're fucking huge in Waterloo. So I mean, you're gonna have I mean, that's gonna be a big show for you for sure, man.
Right, looking forward to seeing all the lookers out there.
Yes, dude. But seriously though, I miss you. I haven't hung out with you in a long time. You're a good friend to me and have been for a really long time. So thanks for coming back for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to be back.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So last but not least, Mark, Sioux Falls' own. Everybody knows I talk about his comics all the time. And if you're not following him on Instagram, you can read the whole damn thing there. So anyway, Mark, how are you, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, definitely, dude. Thank you so much for coming on for our 10-year. We really appreciate it. So everybody, now that everyone's here,
I got a question. Now that the audio is up and everything, so you guys missed the best show opening ever, but I have plenty of witnesses here that will attest that I did a damn good job. But I have a question actually for our alum, Ken and Skylar. I just want to hear a little bit of history. Favorite comic book look moment, episode, or whatever ever that stands out to you.
Oh, I still have people occasionally pull up the video of me eating the ghost pepper. Took a big bite out of the ghost pepper, and I had actually forgotten about that. I think it was one of those selective memories. My mind was like, "That's too traumatic. We don't need to think about that anymore." So that'd be mine.
Oh man, if you guys don't remember, I'm gonna just paint this picture. So Skylar, he's like an avid gardener and he loves like hot peppers. He thinks he loves like the hottest shit. And he's always talking about like these Trinidad scorpion peppers and ghost peppers. And he has like this one, and it's a pepper that's like this big and it looks all shriveled up and nasty. You can see the face of the devil in the actual pepper. And on screen live, Skylar just fucking takes it to the house. And then you get to actually see his eyes turn red, his face turn red. He just starts sweating. He's wearing a sweatshirt. It starts sweating out. It's incredible.
It's every liquid producing orifice except for one just let loose all at once.
Yeah, dude, that was wild. That was a great moment for sure.
Yeah.
How about you, Ken?
Mine doesn't actually even involve me, but it's one of your older videos. It's the one where you drowned the comic.
Oh,
in the Lazarus pit.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
We'll do that again sometime.
Exactly. Yeah. I still have the Lazarus Pit comics in some bag, all nasty and moldy and all sorts of gross. And they may have to be resurrected again someday.
To run them over with our car.
I think like there's a Sentinel comic in there.
There's some bad
stuff. Do a giveaway.
Yeah.
Do a raffle or something.
Oh, that was terrible.
Oh, that is gross.
That is a good memory though. Very nice.
What's your favorite memory, John?
Mine, honestly, I really liked that 6th anniversary video that you did with the death metal.
Oh, yeah. 666.
So that was probably one of my favorites. But I don't know. Like, I think some of our theme shows really stand out to me, like the presidential debate. That was pretty genius when we used to have fun with green screen and stuff.
Yeah, man. Skylar was our editor, so at some points, I mean, he would just go off the wall and we would get some of the weirdest shit. ever. There was one that he just like wanted to use all the templated After Effect, like things on one video, and it didn't make sense at all. There'd be like snowing, and then we would be like black and white, and then it was like no reason at all. I was like, this is a bad acid trip.
Editing videos gets a little boring sometimes. Sometimes you gotta spice it up.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man.
And we had the best show openings ever.
Yeah, of course, man. Yes, exactly.
That was
Flying
pretty
to the
awesome.
shop.
That was classic.
That was some good stuff, man. So anyway, guys, we have been, had this show for 10 years. What, in your opinion, has changed in comic books over the last 10 years? Could be your reading or just the industry in general. Let's get the man who's a part of the industry himself, Mark. Yeah, that's you, man.
In just the last couple of years, I've been looking into more small press and like indie creators. Some of them are in this room right now, and it's been easier. It's just been easier to get access to those types of books. Sometimes it's easier to get those than mainstream titles. So I've just been getting more and more into those, and you can get a lot of them still through Diamond and through Rainbow. So it's a win-win.
Exactly, and I totally agree with that. I've always wanted to read indie comics. I've always liked zines. I've always liked, weird things. I've tried to pick up whatever I can. If I go to a shop, I always say, hey, do you have any stuff from someone who writes in town, or do you got like a local section? I always check for that. But now with the internet and the world, you could be like a local creator in France, and I have the same amount of access to you as I do to Mark, who lives in my own city. So I agree that, the internet and social media, is terrible and destructive as it is for our society. It does help us in other ways of finding art and finding artists. And that would be like, I totally agree with that. And I found that same way, just through me following Mark and following the things that you post or you share. I have found tons of other creators that are just, top of their game, and it's been so inspiring. So I can't wait to continue to go beyond what you can get from Diamond and go beyond what you can get from other places, and keep pushing that narrative. For a while, I think webcomics were trying to push that during the last 10 years, but webcomics, as they are still relevant. My daughter's 14; she reads webcomics every day. They've never had that hold, and I think that the indie comic presses are having success in finding numbers and getting enough people to buy their books to make a little money.
Heck yeah. I'd say, the internet is such a double-sided thing, but on the positive side of the internet, I love just getting to connect with people across the world, right? So when I was doing that interview series for a while, getting to meet a creator out of Australia, out of England, just getting to talk to different people randomly about their projects and celebrate them, like that's probably one of my favorite things. And I'm glad that A Comic Book Look has been our chariot to get to do that. Thank you, internet.
Yeah, totally.
For that.
I mean, I would say us in the last 10 years, comic book journalism has changed a lot too. I mean, there in a lot, when we were getting into this, there was like, these small places, comic book resources and other websites, but now like IGN covers comics as much as it does video games. And, Marvel is the biggest thing in the world, and they are owned by Disney, and all these different things that have happened while we've been doing this run, and that have been changing the atmosphere of comics in general. Having Star Wars and Marvel and Disney and everything else that they own be under this one roof. It's unprecedented. Compared to where we were 10 years ago now. So, and
even we have been approached by Disney.
Yeah,
it's
getting
hard.
Exactly. I was like, $300 million. You wish, man. Come at me with 400, or we're not even. We haven't even come to the table yet. And I told Kevin Feige himself when he stopped at my house last week, we don't have time for you right now. Okay, we're doing a kind of our own thing, and it's on a rocket ship of our own. And pretty soon, they'll be real pissed they didn't offer that 400, Kevin. Okay. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is a celebration, and this is our 10 years.
Got to be humble, Tom. Be humble.
Exactly, boys. So Yes, I thank you guys so much for coming on Comic Book Look and being here for 10 years. Ken, I'm sure you'll see plenty of Ken in the future.
I'll be around. Yeah, we're still gonna do something King related.
That's right, baby. Yes,
Stephen King look.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
God, I can't wait. Exactly. So watch out for that, and then definitely, if you are just needing more Ken in your life, you can have him, right, Ken?
Well, I mean, you can borrow me. I think Joe's kind of possessive.
No, that's funny.
You can check me out. I've got my YouTube channel, Ken's King Collection. I've also got Instagram, same thing. You know, if you search for that, you're going to find me. But it basically just kind of catalog and share my Stephen King collection with the world. Right now, I'm at 425 books, periodicals, magazines, newspapers, etc. So. Yeah, it's pretty extensive.
It's getting intense.
Yeah, that's quite extensive.
I tell John it's not a hoard if it's in an organized fashion. Yeah. It's a collection.
Yeah, I mean, you luckily are with John, and so he has no room to speak when it comes to hoarding terrible X-Men books. And
I mean, I'm just saying that 2/3 of my X-Men collection is probably true. I won't argue that.
Oh, I'm just
the new stuff's cool.
I'm just
so far.
Definitely. So, and Mark, where can they find you, and what should they be getting from you? What's on the horizons?
Mark makes things. Mark with a C is pretty much .com, Instagram, all that. I've got a book coming out from Strangers fanzine in November.
No way.
Yeah.
Holy shnikes.
So the thing that we've been talking about every time I've been on your show came to fruition. So.
Well, holy smokes. So if you guys aren't following yeah, exactly. Mark, that is insane. I will definitely be, copping a bunch. So that's wild. If you guys aren't checking out Strangers, it's a fanzine that that's trying to find the odd and the unknown or the underappreciated. And Mark turned me on to them. In turn, I have been buying comics from them every time they release comics. And what happened now is this guy who just made the zine, he became a distributor so that, these comics that aren't going to make it to Diamond or are international, and you have to pay a bunch for international shipping, he will just get a bunch of them and then he'll say, hey, contact me and I can hook you up with these odd comics. And so recently he's been now making his own comics because that distribution's gone well. So to have you make one of those, Mark, has got to be a big honor, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Very cool.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
605.
That's right. 605, making it worldwide, baby.
Awesome.
But yes, all right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Get the hell out of here. Next group, come on in. Marvin, now.
Yes.
This is your time. Okay, guys, there's a lot of cords around, so we'll see if one of these guys come in.
I was amazed.
All right, come on, Zeke. Woo. Come on, Mikey. Get in here, too.
Getting close, everybody.
Get in close. All right. See, I knew Alex would come in. He's fitting. He's fitting. All right. All right, guys. Now we get the next group. Thank you guys so much. As you guys can see, we have two epic groups with us right now. We have the Wednesday Comics podcast, the #1 comic book podcast in the world, with us. And we have the Frankenstein crew.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Everybody's favorite comic from the 605. As found on Comic Book Look. So we got friends of the show, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming on to joining us for this 10-year celebration.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
10 years is an awesome feat.
And before you move any further here, brought to you by RainbowComicsandCards.com and Liquid Death.
Yeah, Liquid Death send me a crate. I'd love it, man.
Yeah,
Thanks, Marvin. Yeah. Oh, look who it is. It's Dave. Oh, the man who makes it all possible. Thank you, Dave. Oh, man. Dave.
I got it memorized. I can do it anytime you want to.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. Both sides here. Oh, man. I mean, look at this camera. Mikey's like front and center. He's never looked better. I mean, look at that. You kidding me? All right, guys. So, what are you guys up to right now? Let's talk about podcast wise. I hear there's been a new format. I hear the book club's different. I mean, all these changes.
Did we ruin it?
Yeah,
We ruined the book club.
Yeah,
No, you made the book club better.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So let's hear it.
By Tom calling in so many times, we learned our lesson.
Well, Tom, we had this discussion before. We went to a season format, which we disagreed on, and then I don't even know how many episodes we've done now because of the season format, which was a error on my side. But I don't want to count as many.
We don't need to bring that back up. I didn't.
But
It's
then
all in good fun.
you constantly want to change. You had someone to update. You guys are doing the show differently than you did 10 years ago.
That's right.
I remember that first episode, and you were asking earlier about favorite episodes. The ice fishing episode, obviously, my favorite.
Yes, that was
Skylar. That's our boy.
A book got dropped, and some eyes widened during that scene. So that was my favorite moment.
Definitely got wet. That book definitely got snow on it, no doubt about it. And I remember, like, us being like, "Are we going to get snow on our comics?" And me and John kind of looking at each other like, well, we don't really want that, but we still went with the episode. So yeah.
I mean, you say that, and all I can do is cringe, going, "I would never do that." Yeah, my books don't get close to the water.
And it might have been one of those aforementioned X-Men books. So I think if I remember correctly, because it was an ice episode, so it might have been Iceman or something.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I do want to say, so the podcast you were asking about that, and we've been constantly, I get bored with I'm all over the place. I need to be constantly doing something new. So I told these guys, hey, let's change the format. You did not ruin anything, John and Tom, about Dark Avengers was probably the funnest book club show to this point. And I do want to say, episode 1 started with that conversation, and 10 years later, now Marvel is going in that direction. So somebody is obviously right in this conversation.
Yeah. I think I admitted it on the podcast. Like, John was right. I mean, I had blinders on.
He goes, 10 years later, you know what? Not bad.
Yeah.
And that's where the money is. So if we're going to be talking freely here. But we decided, it's very hard, especially in this day and age, as Skylar actually mentioned, because you're to read a whole trade and for a book club. And so we were doing it issue by issue. So that way we could at least read it and give our thoughts on it rather than as a whole. And we would always mostly talk about the beginning and end because my memory's not the best. And so I would be I don't remember what happened in the middle. But now we just got done talking about Sweet Tooth issues 1 through 10.
11.
Yeah. And now we're reading the End Game. Nope. The End League. Which I heard you talking about before. Have you read that before?
I have not, and so I listened to their episode today. But you guys can jump on now, read this End League if you want. But it's by Rick Remender. I remember skipping it back in the day, so I'd never read it. And then when you said it was your book club book, I was like, boom, here's my chance. I'm going to read it. I haven't read it yet. And then I listened to the podcast today, and I'll tell you what, it wasn't glowing reviews from you guys.
Yeah, it might not want to be the first thing on your stack. You might want to put it on the bottom because it's a little rough.
I don't know. Read it first and get it out of the way. Because I read it, and I was...
Sometimes you got to take chances.
But then we heard issue 2 is just as long as issue 1, and I'm like, oh, shit, this is not good.
No, but we're all in this together.
Well, that book came out in 2008, right? And this show, obviously, 10 years ago. But since it came out in 2008 on the show live, I was like, let's say what people think about this book. It can't be that, for the remaining issues we're going to read. The first trade's 4 issues?
Yes.
So we're already 1/4 through it. And I saw a review of the first 2 issues, and everybody was like, one of the person said, the most positive thing was, I think it was okay.
Not exactly a glowing review.
We'll see. I mean, when we talk about what's been changing in comics, that book, I think, is the perfect representation of back then. There's so many words in that book, which I feel like now a lot of people are more visual, but also if the word's going to be on screen, it has to mean something. There's a lot of exposition in that book, literally 15 pages. We talked about it.
Well, so that's the thing. It's 15 pages of the book. You literally could give 2 craps. We talked about it. Could be summed up into 1 panel, 1 page, and wrap it up, and then get to the good stuff.
But then when it gets to the good stuff, it's actually it was okay. I mean, it's
it was Marvin's review 10 years ago.
It's definitely a 90s type comic in 2008, which confuses me. That's why I was like, when did this come out? And we looked up 2008. This is 20 years too late.
Yeah, and Remender is such a sharpened writer at this point.
I don't believe he wrote that book.
Yeah, so that's weird.
It read more like Brian Michael Bendis, or super wordy, and I'm falling asleep halfway through.
No, that Dark Avengers was around the same time, right?
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Okay.
That was when Brian Michael Bendis.
Times.
I was complaining about him then too. So.
But yeah, podcast. We changed up the format because we used to do a bunch of weekly reviews, and we like sprinkle it. So we do now like a lot of the movies, TV shows, comics still, and then we do a classic one that we rotate an issue, and then once we're through a trade, we move on to something else. And so we've done, like I mentioned, Sweet Tooth so far, and then I picked Sweet Tooth Volume 1, and then Garrett picked Sweet Tooth Volume 2, and then
Someone suggested I do a different book.
I was like,
I wish we
we
stayed on volume 3.
I was like,
Holy shit.
I know. In hindsight, we should have done 3.
Yeah, Garrett, you came around. I mean, at the beginning of Sweet Tooth, you were like, I don't know about
I know,
this.
issue
And then
1,
I think
yeah.
issue 11, you gave it full 10.
I'm still been reading it since then because I'm used to reading one a week and it's like a good comic. And then I was like, maybe this will be like End League. And I'm like, no, that was really bad. Like horror movie-esque. That's really bad.
oh, what's the guy's name in League? To show you how bad.
Astonished Man.
No, the other guy. The guy that's supposed to be like
Oh,
Soldier.
Soldier American.
His name is Soldier.
What a
American.
stupid name. And I mean that.
Not
in
even
the
American
nicest way.
Soldier, which makes sense. He's
Soldier American. Yeah, well,
And guess what? His stars not on his chest anymore, not anywhere. Knee pads.
real dumb, dude. Real dumb.
But anyways, we'll be finishing it, so join us.
Yeah.
We're going to be forced to finish it.
I mean, the thing about that show is,
No, we're not forced. We're gonna say, screw this shit.
Okay, let's do that because I would love that idea.
luckily he picked the trade as 4 issues.
Yeah,
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And it ended in 9 issues, so it's probably
Yeah, it's only 9 issues long, so we couldn't finish it. It's 4 issues, but
I did want to point out, you guys were talking about the Lazarus Pit earlier.
Yeah.
That's like when I first met you guys,
Oh.
and I had read Giuseppe Camicoli's version of Darth Vader.
Oh,
And
that
so we
made
had
it.
just met each other, and then I get a video after we all hung out one time of you guys throwing that on top of the Lazarus Pit and spraying gasoline over it. I was like, all right, let's comic book look, guys. Here we go. That was my favorite moment. I was like, well, I know who these guys are now. They don't write
Oh,
us
John was
comics.
so
I
disappointed
was
on that
so
book.
pissed
dude.
I
off
know.
about it. Yeah, man.
It
You
was
just get high
it was a
hopes of
great
Dark
exposure.
Lords, you know?
Yeah.
When you screw it like that.
So I remember that. I forgot about the Lazarus Pit until you guys mentioned it. I was like,
Oh,
that was
man.
a,
We gotta bring that back.
yeah, it's a great pit.
By the way, you really need to throw that bag out. Just burn it all.
No
when
way.
when you say
It'll go
there's
back.
mold in it, I'm going, yeah, you're going to open it. You're going to turn into
I'll open it outside.
the cordyceps monsters from Last of Us. We're going to put you down.
I think there's like an ecosystem. There's still like moisture, maybe like bugs living in there, you know. Oh man, we just like got cut off.
I was going to say when I walked over here, it was at 33%. And I don't know
Oh,
if that means
hold on. Watch out, guys. I didn't plug in the goddamn camera. Unreal.
that should have been the first thing I did
This is
instead of
amazing.
saying the sponsors. But
It's okay. It's gonna be the John show for right now.
Yeah, John, flip it over
I
there.
got you. I got you. All right. Audio check for everybody tuned in. Can you still hear me?
Plug into the goddamn camera.
Video is gone. I got you, Jason.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Everybody in the comments, let me know if you can still hear us. We're gonna keep it going. It's a John show. We're okay with that.
All right,
We got this.
here we go.
Sarge still here or is he sleeping?
Sarge is in bed. Oh, we're back.
Soldier
We're back.
American was pissed.
Let's see. We're back, man. I'm sorry, boys. That's me. 10 years, baby. Still don't remember to plug it in.
Something had to happen. I mean,
And tell us
All right.
if you can't hear us now, because I'm sure I'm doing that and fuck something else up,
Nah,
and
you're good.
you know
You're good.
whatever
This is the
else.
way it goes.
All right, we
All
can
right.
see and hear you. Thanks,
Only know.
dude. Appreciate that, Comic Crack.
We're just gonna lift that one up. Thank you, sir.
We needed a good transition to Frankenstein Boys anyway. So, Frankenstein Boys.
You're back.
Rise up.
Oh, rise up! Issue 1 available. Issue 2.
We
Soon to
actually,
be.
yeah, we had the. I think it's not. Hopefully, the final draft we were proofing today.
Holy smokes! Final draft.
It's
I mean, look at
56
these.
pages.
Late,
Yeah.
but coming.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
that's
it's
on
worth
time,
worth
baby.
the wait.
Did you
Yeah.
say 56 pages?
Yep.
Boys, that's 2 comic books worth.
Mm.
What are you
Yeah.
doing to yourself?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey.
Yeah, bro.
The first trade, when it's done, will be 200 pages long. So the installments are impressive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Likes.
We're going for Bibles.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's really good. Mikey's
Graphic
outdone
novels.
himself. It's great. Yeah.
What about graphic Bibles?
and some publishers, that's 4 issues, 56.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's an impressive work that Mikey just knocked out of the park.
No, and it's all because of the community that's been spawned out of joining y'all's stuff, and combo right here. This is like Transformers combining right here.
It's gonna be the first launch from Pendragon Inc. So we're really excited for that.
Nice, Pendragon Inc. So check that out. That's really cool, man. And we got, that means we got like 2 big comic book exclusives on this episode. We got Mark's putting out a Strangers, and we got, Frankenstein, new publisher. That's really dope, guys. So so I'm sure you guys have been working your ass off on that. But what else is going on in life, huh? What's new? I mean, 10 years. What's changed in comics in 10 years? What changed in your guys' life in the last 10 years? What's up?
Robot Dance Club stuff still coming on its way.
All right.
Everything with even though Empire sadly is on hiatus, we've got all the titles are still in their private sections. So to that question, Kickstarting.
Nice.
That's a kind of like something that we've seen really blossom in the last decade.
I mean,
and now like it's serious category.
I mean, were comics even being kickstarted 10 years ago? If they were, it would have been the very, very beginning of it.
I think the first time I saw it was 2012.
Yeah,
and it was mostly film that it started with.
Exactly.
And so comics grew into that, and I think part of that is because comics have become, from my view, more cinematic, and so it's become kind of like the same group of people doing. Like not necessarily the same people, but they're the same mentality. They're creatives, and they're bringing stories to life, and so it's fun to see that.
I agree. I think that for sure, comics have become more cinematic. So I want to pull that out right away. I mean, you're a big movie guy anyway, right? Yeah. So I mean, tell us a little bit about your movie life and what you have going on right now that we can all kind of check out.
Well, after the last year, most of my work is documentary right now. In fact, a lot of the sanctions still haven't been lifted as far as protocols go, which that makes sense. But this year it'll be a 6-feature documentary year.
Wow.
And so it's been good to get back in the swing of things that way. And also like what we have going with Pendragon and Mikey and Frankenstein, like it'll be at least a 3 or 4 comic year. I mean, so it's been really cool. Pretty cool. Like we're headed into the meat of it right now. So we're really excited for the launch, and it's nice to have that collaboration where it's not just the same group of people, but we're bringing more people in, and we got a stable of creatives that it's fun to work with.
Yeah.
Like y'all, like just keep going forward, keep it going. 10 years. Now the 20.
That's right, baby.
There we go. Just keep it going.
I love that, man. And I love how you bring up to, how comics have been more cinematic, because I agree. In the last 10 years, I would say comics have gotten a lot more cinematic. I mean, like artists like McNiven and these guys who really opened up and stopped doing panels and started just almost putting a 16:9 panel for each one. Bendis did a bunch of work like that and kind of changed the way that comics are looked at. Now, I think it is starting to come back where, more wild panels are seen more. And, I think that has almost been the way that has been overdone to the point a little bit now.
Well, I mean, you use it when it's needed. It's not needed all the time. You have 2 people conversing. You don't need those kind of wild panels.
Yeah.
The same thing with like film. I mean, you do certain shots to affect certain, moods or affect certain scenes. Like you're not going to do a one shot just because, unless you're Birdman, going to do a one shot for no reason or something like that. Which, like, if you look at Rorschach happening right now, which is kind of, well, not even, I guess he's kind of started with and he's kind of evolved more than just using 9-panel grids, but like that's basically the comic one shot.
Yeah.
And like it's meant to be there on purpose and for you to notice it. And then you have, like you said, like you read the Deadly Class and it's supposed to be, action packed and all over the place and make you feel like it's a rock song, and it does. So like what you said is absolutely true. Like when we're talking about, I don't want to bring up this book again, but Enley, when I say like it's way different than comics are today, like that's what I'm talking about. Back then it's like, oh, let's make this like books.
Yeah.
And definitely the cinematic aesthetic to it has been kind of advanced in the last 10 years. And to your point, it's because a lot of those people have moved from film to. I saw Emilia Clarke put out a book this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. But and there's tons of people who like, if for instance, Texas Blood. What's it called? There's that
Texas
Texas Blood.
Blood.
Yes.
That was supposed to be a film and supposed to be they have a screenplay and they're supposed to be a film and they couldn't get the funding for it, so they went to comics. And the first arc and the last arc will be what the film is going to be, but there's more that they can figure out to flare out the characters in between. And so they decided to make it a comic, and it's no longer. I don't feel like it's no longer the alternative to doing film. Definitely, depending on what you want to tell, it's definitely a preferred medium for a lot of people now. So
yeah, I add to that. How we're now viewing comics through iPads and everything. Okay, same with the what you're talking about with the film.
Mhm.
I think they're like gonna in the next 10 years gonna be so like coincided with, oh, this property didn't get that next season. Don't worry.
Yeah,
it'll be on the shelf.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that was tried 20 years ago and failed, where you would read a chapter and you'd scan a barcode and you'd go watch a short video. Now it's getting to a point where that could be seamless and you could actually watch a panel in the comic, which would be fun to see that medium grow a little bit.
Digital comic, imagine it with the Amazon where it finds everything, but boom, digital comic, boom, leaps into, oh, you want to see the digital version of this?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the marriage happens, and you're exactly right. I mean, I think the progression is, if you guys read that old book, Understanding Comics, he already like talks about how comics are just another storytelling medium. So I think we found, I know hardcore readers will see that that. I mean, we all pick up different books that this was a short film, or this was a script, or this was going to be a movie, or they wanted this to be a TV show, but they come to comics because comics, you have the cost of the artist and then no special effects, no big, whatever your budget is, it's just whatever the imagination can pull out of that. And so then you get the best storytelling. That's why we all love comics. But I think 10 years ago, I had a different look at that. I remember I hated that. I was like, I'm a comic book guy. Please, if you are writing movies and you want to be a movie writer,
separate.
Yeah, to just jump, you're just trying to get your name out here, or this one didn't work, so you're going to bring it to here. I wasn't for that at all. And like this one guy, this writer, Mike Costa, he writes some stuff right now, always good as hell.
He wrote Cobra?
Yeah, he wrote Cobra. He's writing Stealth, I think, right now for Skybound. The dude writes great comics, and I remember having an interview, like this is probably like 10 years ago, when I am, I'm a 26-year-old man, and I am like very, very hard into comic books. And I remember hearing an interview, and he was like, I read comics and I write comics. I'm not here to fucking get to Hollywood. I'm not trying to get my film made. I'm here to write comics. And I was like, I'm buying everything he writes. He's the man. He's the guy. And then slowly from there, everybody, Rucka, he's always like, well, I'd rather just write novels. And and then well, Rucka, don't fucking say that. You're my favorite writer. Please say that you love writing comic books. He's like, not really. I'd prefer novels. And you're like, oh, okay, dang it, man. And then he was you're my eyes open of the world. And I see that, I don't care what you're trying to write for. I've now read hundreds of books that started as scripts of movies or something else and then become outstanding comics, and I go out of my way every single week to try to pick up new number ones that I've never heard of, and if it's a creator I've never heard of, I definitely want to check them out, and I do judge them harshly, but
believe me, I see that your Instagram, and sometimes I'm like, oh, he hated that book.
Hey, so if you get a good review from me, Mark, you should be happy. I give you very good reviews.
Not to say we don't hate stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I want a bad review.
They happen quite often, but it's because I try everything. I really do, and I want to try everything, and I want the medium to grow. And no matter in the last 10 years of reading comics, I have heard that the industry was dying on three separate eras of this is the end of comic books, and we're still here, and Rainbow's still here, and you have creators thinking of badass new ideas that mix in and stuff.
Word to the guy got into it on Facebook probably about like 8 months ago about comics dying, the industry, like do your titles right then, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Got him.
So yeah, I think that's it's been talked about, and I don't think it's going anywhere. And I think with the rise of of places like Strangers, these giant places are all of these publishers growing, Black Mask and Aftershock and Boom and all of these that were around 10 years ago, even some of them, they are now they are what Image was 10 years ago. Image is now one of the big two. So now they're the big three, and these other ones are where Image was. So if we follow that trajectory, we will find that DC and Marvel will continue to put out $7, $8 books, and we can find good stories.
10 years ago, you could have sent an indie book and it would have been an Image book, but not today. Image book is not an indie book today. Like when Mark was just stating the indies, like we're talking about a small press that, as you stated, now have more visibility because of the internet, and can be viewed by anybody and enjoyed by anybody, which I do think, to your point, Mike, you get into it with this guy saying that comics are dying. They're not dying. Everything transitions to whatever, and the only reason it will die is if it holds back from transitions to a new thing. But comic books are a medium, and it's not a thing that can die because mediums last, and however you want to tell a story, whether it fits or not, like it's gonna stick around forever. Like I can make a comic at home on a piece of paper. It's not going to die because I can keep doing it. Like as long as somebody wants to read it, and as long as you got a story to tell, and it's a medium that you want to use, like it's going to be around forever. And yes, the business might ebb and flow and might change a little bit, and you have to kind of keep up with that. But in terms of a medium, the stories are always there.
I mean, if you have a good story, people will find you regardless of the medium. I mean, you have people spending hundreds of millions of dollars on stuff right now that the story is garbage, and immediately it gets panned, and they're just starving for a good story.
And to your point, what you were saying before, Tom, like there's tons of stuff out there right now, and I don't care like where it started. It all comes down to execution. It could have been it was going to be a movie one day. It could have been it was going to be a book. Like if you choose to use comic as a medium, there's benefits to doing it as a comic. Like we talk about all the time with podcasts. Like comics can do certain things that no other medium can. Like it can be visual, but you got no budget. It's all up to your imagination. But it can also be like a book, and you can be very descriptive in what is going on, and you can have silent moments that you can't have in books, and you can in film. And so it's a mixture of a lot of storytelling mediums that, like, it doesn't matter where the idea for the story came from, as long as you use the medium to what it benefits from, and it doesn't matter. Could you write down on a napkin and make a story out of it? I don't care.
I agree. I think you're 100% right. It's a medium. They'll never go away. Hey, the big talk right now is movie theaters. Movie theaters aren't going to last. COVID's killed movie theaters. There's no way movie theaters are going to make any money. And then Fast 9 makes $1 billion. So, there is always going to be ebb and flows. Nobody knows what the future is, but I can assure you that because there's 8 billion people on the earth, there's plenty of people that like these things. The whole world is now niched. And whatever your niche is, there's a bunch of other freaks out there that agree with you, and like the shit that you like. So,
and to that point, no matter where you are in this viewing this, RainbowComicsandCards.com online.
Yeah, you can join us, man. We'll be your freaks, no doubt about it. But yeah, man, that really well said, Marvin. So that's great. I mean, I say now, guys, I think this has been a great show. What do you say, John?
Dude,
I don't know.
I got to throw in my 2 cents on this decade situation. When we started this show, I was a freaking Marvel zombie. So all I read, Marvel, everything Marvel. And then when you look at my buying habits over the period of the show, I start branching out. I get a little DC because I like my villains. I'm rooting for Scarecrow and Joker and all that. Then you start seeing us network with the other shows, and so we started getting to know Wednesday Comics. We got to know Begging and Boarding Bad Boy Mark online. We started interviewing other creators, and I got more and more exposed to all these cool, different, not just books, but ways of thinking about the books and ways to engage with other people in comics that got me on this sudden, my reading habits went from this freeway of Marvel to tree roots and underground with the different things that I started picking up. And so now I'm picking up all these random number ones, and whenever we're getting an Empire release, and now Pendragon release, I'm going to be rocking that. When Mark's dropping something, I'm getting it. Getting a guest on with you guys, it's just a lot of fun, and it's so interesting. I look back at myself and I look at those old episodes, and I'm like, it's a great timepiece, but what the hell is I talking about half the time? You know what I mean? And was it that good of a book? I don't know. I think we should like literally do a show sometime where we have to like splice it and play our old reviews and then reread the book.
You remember that episode where you recorded no audio, so instead you did a commentary on the episode you recorded?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh man,
that's what you
That's
needed.
hilarious.
Oh, man.
And I do want to credit Sam Humphreys because he was on your show very early.
Yeah,
on
dude.
With that Love Is Love book,
Yeah.
and I think that's John. That's what got you going.
Yeah, man.
You started going down the indie pipeline with a book, science fiction book about a dog and a human.
Exactly, human and dog love, and then we became friends with Sam Humphreys through email.
That was early.
And then he sent us all of his comics for free after that. And it was really awesome. He was like, the man, Sam Humphreys, I should dig up your email. It's been 8 years and see what's up, dude. You're still rocking
I
and
didn't know
rolling.
you guys knew Sam Humphries. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, we've had beers with Kurt Busick, Chris Roberson. Through cons, we've met tons of other people. But when we went to FableCon, we
interactions with Bill.
Yeah, I mean, and Bill, that was rough.
Yeah,
but
that's rough.
and I mean, Adam Hughes also, that was rough. But there are some dicks in the. They're still guest artists, but I mean, me at that con, we just got to hang out with all of these superstars to us. Kurt Busick had and gave my wife like a nickname. We hung out with him for hours. It was one of the best times of my life, and that would have never happened without a comic book.
Fantastic writer, by the way.
Yeah.
So I do want to say, like, 10 years of this show, like you said, episode 1, if you watch that episode, John is very much a character kind of person, and you definitely were like, I like this writer, I like this artist. And the last 10 years have been a melting of those two kind of ways of approaching comics. Because, like you said, when we did Dark Avengers, you're like, you know what? I think I was wrong 10 years ago. And then John trying out all these new stuff and falling in love with stuff outside of X-Men and Marvel. It just shows you the many different avenues that comics have. Like, if you want to stick with Marvel, you can. There's so much to do there, and there's good stuff. There's bad stuff. Justice League. I mean, DC, it's the same thing. But there's a world from Image, which is not one of the main two that many people think about, but it still gives stories that maybe won't appear anywhere else. It's a very small presses, like Mark was talking about before, and so and then you guys too. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, exactly, man.
2021, a lot of stuff.
So now, John, we're kind of getting towards the end of the show here.
Yeah.
I wanted to just say, I just wanted to ask you. We have been doing it for 10 years. What do you think that we can keep doing this for another 10 years? I mean, like, what, we're going to end in like this year? We're going to end in 10 years? What's the deal? I mean, where do you see a comic book look in the next 10 years?
Well, you guys can unfortunately be in the ball and chain. We're having to drop the guillotine with this episode. I'm totally kidding. No, I personally have no plans to stop buying comics. It's just kind of who I am, because honestly, I go to work 40 hours a week, but my mind is like, man, when's Wednesday coming around? And it's just nice to have a cool group of people, and it truly is an all ages situation.
You think we could get a promise right now, no matter how big of a break you take between whatever episode you do, and the last episode has to be you two on a porch in a rocking chairs.
Ooh,
yeah, there we go.
Retired with your comics.
We're gonna be looking like Steve Rogers came back from the time machine
and
hand over that shield.
And another look back at Dark Avengers.
I changed my mind again.
It sucks.
That's my original. Yeah,
I gotta turn this page.
Yeah,
I love it, man.
I have no plans. I think that we're just going to keep cruising and doing it. The streaming platform technology makes it so much easier for us, you guys. No editing. That used to take hours.
I will say, love the new format. You guys did for the format too, the live show.
Yeah.
I get that notification and pop in every once in a while, and then give a few words. But if I miss it, I happen to miss it, next day I can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely, technology's been our friend, but I definitely don't get to see you as much, which
unless you don't plug in the camera.
Don't plug in the camera, don't have a microphone going, and we'll continue doing that. And when we do that last episode that that Marvin talked about, there won't be any audio or video. It'll just be a blank stream, and we
Filmed
won't
in,
ever know.
Black and white with the VCR effects.
I'm sure at that point we'll be joining you via VR and we'll be acting like we're in front of
Yes,
your house.
exactly, dude. You guys will be there. We'll all be on the porch rocking together. No, that sounds good to me, man. I don't plan on stopping either. You know me. We're going to keep reading good books. John read books before I met him. I read books before he met me. We're going to keep on reading books forever, except that we'll be friends forever now. So we'll always read books that way. But yeah, man, dude, John, I love you. 10 years.
10 years.
I can't wait. And it's been pretty awesome.
Thank you.
And yeah, man, can't wait to keep on doing it.
Well, with that, you guys, amazing community tonight. We are very blessed, and we say this all the time, but this is exactly why we say our community is the best, because it is. So out here in the mighty Midwest, 605 strong is the way I see it. We are very thankful for all of you. Thank you for your time tonight. Thank you to Ken and Skylar and Mark and you guys all for hanging out with us tonight. Yeah, anything else?
No, man, I think that's about it.
Do you mind if I give a little plug?
Oh, no, not at all.
RavenComicsandCards.com, your definitive source for all things comics, cards, and collectibles. But actually, also visit WednesdayComics.com. That's where you can subscribe to the podcast, leave a message, and also view our merch page. Or you could call, like this guy does on an old landline, 605-215-1849.
You got to watch them or listen to the next episode. Maybe they'll play my my voicemail I left today.
I already have a response ready.
I already called it.
I listened to it.
I called Marvin out a little bit.
I mean, I already have a response ready, and it will come out. But if you call the phone number, as Sergeant Miracle always says, be ready to talk to the secretary. She will answer the phone and move you along.
She's nice.
And no one said this, but Mikey Compogini, one of the best artists out there.
Yeah, all right, man.
Thank you,
No
bro.
doubt about it,
Thank
Mikey.
With Mark, if you're interested in drawing comics or anything like that, reach out to either of us. We'll put you in the right direction, and we'll see all creators and everybody at SuperCon, and we'll have some treats there. Get some free art, buy some art, support your artists, support your comics, and we love you.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I've looked at my following list. And yeah, I'm a little disappointed, y'all. So prove me wrong, but follow them, like, and subscribe.
That's right, man. Step up, okay? He's watching.
We're settling it tonight. All right.
I got mad beef today.
Yeah.
But I love all of y'all. So come
Except
at
for
me.
a couple of you.
Yeah.
Like
One guy.
Comic book Jared
Yeah,
Springer
yeah.
up in here.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's all.
Zeke, you got anything to play?
No, I'm good, man.
Yeah. Starting fights with Pendragon already.
Oh man. All right, well, we're gonna shut it down, I guess. You guys.
Yeah, man. 10 years shut it down. I will say that my wife made us a cookie cake, and I left it in the car. So it might be melted, but I will get that if you guys.
That's better than I thought. She made us the cake, and I ate it.
I didn't. I just left it in the car. Honey, I'm sorry. Also, she got flowers. They're very pretty for Ken and John, and pretend I'm giving those to you right now on camera, but I will afterwards.
That's amazing. All right, well, we're gonna shut it down, you guys. It's a comic book look, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics. If you're in the Sioux Falls area, swing on by and say howdy, but not tonight because we're gonna be shutting the shop down. 42nd Minnesota Avenue. If you're in Lincoln, Nebraska, we got a site there as well with a crew to help you out with your comic book needs. I am John on Demand, @John on Demand on the Twitters, and we got @Tom2Divine over here. We are definitely just so thankful again. 10 years, we're gonna keep on crushing it, and we're gonna keep it comics for sure, man. Peace.
Yay!
All right. I think your mouse died.
Oh, there, it picked back up.
Okay.
Okay, did you hit stop or do I right here?
Stop.
Bye, guys.
Stop. Stop stream.